Israel has always been at the center of biblical narratives, from the Old Testament patriarchs to the apocalyptic visions of the book of Revelation. The Bible has spoken of Israel not just as a nation, but as a spiritual symbol, a prophetic timeline, and a geographical epicenter for God's plan for humanity. Today, as geopolitical tensions rise in the Middle East, many ask, what does the Bible actually say will happen to Israel? In this video, we'll explore the prophecies, interpretations, and theological debates surrounding Israel's future. The concept of Israel as God's chosen people originates in the book of Genesis. God makes a covenant with Abraham, promising him that his descendants will become a great nation in Genesis 12. Later, this covenant is reaffirmed with Isaac and Jacob, the patriarchs of the Israelites. God declares through Moses, "For you are a people holy to the Lord your God. The Lord your God has chosen you out of all the peoples on the face of the earth to be his people." This chosenness is not merely ethnic, it's spiritual and covenantal. According to this, Israel is chosen not for privilege but for purpose, to be a light to the nations mentioned in Isaiah 49. However, this special status comes with both blessings and consequences. The Bible is clear that Israel would face exile due to disobedience. Deuteronomy 28 outlines blessings for obedience and curses for rebellion. One of the most notable prophecies is the scattering of the Jewish people. Then the Lord will scatter you among all nations from one end of the earth to the other. Indeed, Israel experienced multiple exiles. First one was under Assyria and Babylon, and later a global dispersion after the Roman destruction of Jerusalem. But the Bible also promises regathering. "I will gather you from all the nations where I scattered you, and I will bring you back to the land of Israel." This prophecy has been interpreted by many as partially fulfilled in 1948, when the state of Israel was re-established, and again with subsequent waves of immigration. Perhaps one of the most symbolic prophecies is found in Ezekiel 37, where the prophet sees a vision of a valley filled with dry bones. "Son of man, these bones are the people of Israel. I am going to open your graves and bring you back to the land of Israel." This vision is often interpreted as both spiritual and national revival. Some scholars view it as a metaphor for the return from Babylonian exile, while others, especially Christian Zionists, see it as referring to the modern restoration of Israel as a nation. On the other hand, the prophetic books repeatedly portray Israel as a focal point in the last days. "I will make Jerusalem a cup that sends all the surrounding peoples reeling. On that day, when all the nations of the earth are gathered against her, I will make Jerusalem an immovable rock for all the nations." Many see this as a depiction of the final battle involving Israel. This idea is expanded in Ezekiel 38 and 39, where a coalition of nations led by Gog of Magog invades Israel. However, God intervenes directly. "I will execute judgment on him. And so I will show my greatness and my holiness, and I will make myself known in the sight of many nations." These chapters are central to many modern interpretations of an apocalyptic war involving Israel, sometimes referred to as World War III in popular culture. According to Daniel and Thessalonians 2, a figure often called the Antichrist will make a covenant with Israel but later break it. He will desecrate the temple and declare himself divine. He will set himself up in God's temple, proclaiming himself to be God. This leads to the controversial issue of the third temple, which many believe must be built on the Temple Mount in Jerusalem. Orthodox Jews await this moment. Christian dispensationalists believe it will fulfill prophecy. Some see modern preparations for the third temple as potential signs that prophecy is unfolding. In Christian eschatology, Israel plays a central role in the return of Jesus Christ. Jesus himself says, "Jerusalem will be trampled on by the Gentiles until the times of the Gentiles are fulfilled." Many interpret this to mean that Jewish control over Jerusalem signals the nearing of the end times. Paul in Romans 11 speaks of a future mass conversion of Jews. "All Israel will be saved as it is written. The deliverer will come from Zion, he will turn godlessness away from Jacob." Here, Paul links Israel's salvation with the return of the Messiah, suggesting that their restoration is not only physical but spiritual. The book of Revelation includes several references to Israel, and I heard the number of them which were sealed. And there were sealed and 144,000 of all the tribes of the children of Israel. Some interpret this literally, others symbolically. Revelation also describes a time of great persecution, particularly against Jerusalem. The holy city will be trampled for 42 months. However, Revelation ends with the vision of a new Jerusalem. I saw the holy city, the new Jerusalem, coming down out of heaven from God. This new Jerusalem symbolizes the final union between God and His people, a restored order beyond earthly conflict. While it includes the names of the 12 tribes of Israel on its gates, it also invites all nations. Despite the prophecies of war and judgment, the Bible also speaks of peace for Israel. He will judge between the nations. Nation will not take up sword against nation, nor will they train for war anymore. And again in Micah 4 it is written that from Jerusalem will go forth the law and the word of the Lord. In the end, Israel is not just a battlefield, it is a place of hope and healing, a beacon of God's final plan to unite humanity. The future of Israel is one of the most debated topics in theology. Some Christians, especially those in dispensationalist or evangelical circles, believe in a literal fulfillment of all biblical promises to ethnic Israel. Others, particularly in covenant theology, believe the church is the new Israel inheriting the spiritual promises. As Paul says, if you belong to Christ, then you are Abraham's seed and heirs according to the promise. This distinction between literal and spiritual Israel affects how people interpret the nation's role in future prophecy. So, according to the Bible, Israel's story is far from over. It is a narrative of covenant, exile, return, conflict, and eventual redemption. Whether one interprets these prophecies literally or symbolically, there is no denying that Israel holds a central place in the biblical vision of the end times. As wars rage and alliances shift in today's world, many look to the Bible for insight. But prophecy is not only about prediction, it's about preparation. The future of Israel, according to the Bible, is one of important tribulation, but also of ultimate transformation. Of course, this is just for the believers.
Yes, believe it or not, this is the story. Looking at today's political developments from this perspective might sometimes be beneficial, especially for the Middle Eastern affairs. Thank you for watching.